We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences, so the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Just go to Indeed.com/Blue Wire right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Pod Maverick After Dark. This is Kirk Henderson, and I'm joined as always by Josh Bowe. We are both editors over at MavsMoneyball.com. Josh, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Hopefully that's the final preseason game, and we can get the regular season underway. Oh, wait.
That game counted.
That game. Oh, no. Did someone tell the Wizards that game counted? I don't think they did.
They're 2-18. No,
they're a bad team.
Are they that bad? No, they can't be that bad. Maybe 2-16.
No, they're 2-18. They're 2-18.
Oh my God! Talk about rough. Well, guys, we're just going to be honest with you. The Dallas Mavericks beat the Washington Wizards 137-101. I was texting with another person in the media space, one of them who we'll just say that it's one who you all know, and he said, "I think there are 7 post-game shows related to the Dallas Mavericks that he was aware of, along with 4 of them that go live on YouTube, including ours and including his." He said, "There's a lot of appetite for the Dallas Mavericks." And I said, "Yes, there is." And so with that in mind, I think what we're going to do is we're going to respect our audience's time, and try to keep this brief because there ain't much to say beyond the fact that that was an ass whooping.
It was 137-101, and the final score doesn't even really do justice to how dominant and how in the bag this game was for the Mavericks. At no point did it feel like Washington was threatening, and it really did. I was joking in Slack, but it really did at times. The Mavericks felt like they were in 5th gear, or I don't know, 1st gear.
Buster, for just a second, my wife texted me.
No, you're good. It felt like the Mavericks were in 2nd gear at most for this game. And even with that, it didn't feel like they were going balls out 100%, which is fine. They didn't need to. And they were still racking up, 30-point lead in the second half. If the Mavericks if the Mavericks were playing this game like their lives depended on it, they could have won this game by 80 points. That's how dominant they were over this team. It was a wire. I mean, it wasn't wire to wire victory, but it was about as close as you can get. And it just they were just doing whatever they want. They were just kind of, like I said, they're playing. It felt like they were playing at half speed for most of the game, and
they could have won by more.
Yeah, that's what I said while you stepped out.
Half.
Yeah. But I mean, why even expend the energy? I don't blame them at all. They did their jobs. I mean, the Washington never had a chance in this game. I know there were maybe a couple runs they made in the first half where you'd probably like a team to be tighten that up a little bit. But I mean, it's not like they ever got it to within a possession. It was pretty much a double-digit lead for most of the game. And yeah, they killed him. They made 23 pointers and they scored 50 points in the paint. When you do that, your offense is humming.
The plus minus numbers are hilarious.
They really are.
Like, they don't even look real. Luka finished plus 36, Clay plus 36, Maxey plus 27, which and it's the mirror image, like 17 minutes of nothing. He didn't, I guess he had one assist and 2 blocks, and he's a plus 27. What is the Wizards net rating now? Robbie Lewis in the chat makes a joke about the Wizards net rating because apparently teams that play against them are every team that plays against the Wizards, it's just like has a net rating of plus 15, which would be like the best all time over the course of the season. Like, just something.
So the Wizards turn everyone into the Harlem Globetrotters, basically.
Pretty much, man. They just, number one, they were down a number of guys who can contribute. And they just don't even look like a real team. Like, what? Like, Sarr is not very good.
Well, that's okay. Like, it was fine. Rookie. Yeah.
Bilal Coulibaly was 0 of 10, but that dude is a boss. And Jonas Valanciunas, those are like the only players that I'm remotely into. I don't know. Bub Carrington was kind of fun. Negative 26 in this time.
I know. This is very, very much a transition year, to say the least, for Washington. And, the one thing we can say, we were talking about, we don't know what to say about this game because Washington's so bad. I think the one thing we can say is the Mavericks did their job, right? Like, and that's commendable because we have seen the Mavericks in the last 5 years not always, take their opponent seriously when it's a bad opponent. And they certainly did that tonight. And like, there was never a doubt, like, Luka has had some games against bad teams where it's like he doesn't look engaged because he knows it's going to be such a cakewalk. Like, he was on it from the first quarter, which was really nice to see. His line doesn't look super impressive, even though he had a triple-double, because he kind of, in the third quarter, like, the game was over and he was just kind of shooting threes and jumpers because it didn't really matter. But I think the first half, Luka, like, he was very much determined to be like, let's not play in the fourth quarter. Like, let's get everyone a rest. Like, and that was nice to see. Like, they're very much locked in right now. They're 15-8, and they're, I don't know, don't see any signs of them slowing up, especially with this schedule. Schedule.
The schedule's pretty hilarious. I'm going to pull it up. Let's see. So the Mavericks are now riding in a current NBA. They hold, like, the 6-game win streak the Mavericks are riding, and they've now won 10 of their last 11. The 6-game win streak is the current longest active win streak, which is really something. They play Toronto. Then I guess the NBA Cup stuff is like throwing me off. Tuesday, December 10th at 8:30 is when they play the Thunder, and that's the do or die part of the NBA Cup. And then I have a feeling they play like the loser, and those games, I think those games count towards your.
I think the only games that don't count for the regular season are the semifinal and the final, or maybe just the final. I don't know. Last time I talked about Cup stuff, it was bad. I did not get it right.
Our guy Tyler Edsall at Mavs Moneyball keeps threatening me about
he keeps writing about
sort
it.
Of thing.
I know.
So we'll figure that out. But it's like if you pull those games aside, you look at the rest of it. They after whatever short break that they'll have right after the tournament and before Christmas, they play Clippers, Portland, and the Clippers the Clippers strike me as the kind of team that'll just drag the Mavs into the mud because they obviously play Harden ball, which is not dissimilar from Luka ball, but they have a center that's actually amazing. That's not to say the Mavericks centers aren't quite good, but they play like the 2019 or the 2022 Dallas Mavericks, only with a load of a center. And Zubac, who I just really, really appreciate. So, all right, this game, thinking a little more about this game.
There's not much to think about.
I got nothing.
Spencer Dinwiddie keeps making threes. What? At this point, I would believe any theory as to why he shoots threes here better than anywhere else in his NBA career. Because you look at his go to his basketball reference page. It is hilarious. It is hilarious. He's a career like 33. Like outside of Dallas, he's probably like a career 30%, maybe 3-point shooter. And then two and a half, a season and a half in Dallas, he's 40%. He's at 36. He was at 36.6 going into this game, so that probably bumped up a little bit. He was 4 or 5 tonight. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Luka effect. Like, there's no better example maybe of the Luka effect, but yeah, that dude Dallas just knows how to shoot. I don't know. He just makes threes in Dallas. It's really funny.
You pull back, and we're starting to see elements of like the first 5 to 7 games. Everyone was shooting terribly.
Yeah.
And now we're sort of seeing things swing the opposite way. And that's just, that's the NBA shooting variance. Like the Mavericks ended up only hitting, not only, like they
What
shot.
are you talking about?
that was the Wizards line. When you hit 53% of your threes,
and you shoot 38 of them.
we got to see Klay Thompson kind of heat up for a brief moment. He still doesn't look very comfortable, but that is what it is. Bobby Corrala over at DLLS did a section. It was either in their podcast yesterday or the podcast after the other game. He did like a video. It's not really a video breakdown. It was almost like him sort of teaching a class where he would pause the video and like show everyone what was happening. And I really recommend you go watch it. I don't want to take away from his work here, but he did a nice job of explaining what Klay does. If you think he sucks, like there's just that sentiment out there. I'm gonna say I understand, but what he allows the offense to do is really interesting. And it is pretty interesting because Leo says in the chat, he goes, I wish they had the rights to show the film. And honestly, man, you can show clips, but the thing about showing clips is your eyes go away from stuff. Most people tend to follow the ball. It's hard to look elsewhere when the ball is doing a thing. The freeze frame really allows him with the pictures to be able to point specific things out. And, Brandon says Klay's got to stop these hitches and pump fakes and just shoot it. Tend to agree with that sort of thing. But even Klay without the ball, like guys have to face guard him. And that the Mavericks will slowly over the course of the season, they'll see how teams are guarding Klay. They'll see how teams are guarding their other guys. And they will develop exploitations of that kind of defense. Like
they're already kind of doing it now.
Yeah. That's the rub. So it's like, if you're sitting there going, why does this happen? Why does this happen? Quite candidly, we haven't seen these Mavericks at full strength when they're playing well still. Najee's got whatever he's got going on. He's another piece you add into this mix. Quentin Grimes is just able to hit. It feels like he could become a microwave at any moment. There's just a lot going on.
Yeah. Like you think about how well the bigs are scoring this season, and like Klay has a lot to do with that. Like, how are they still able to get lobs and rim runs when we saw the Celtics in the finals last year kind of lay the blueprint out of like how you can neutralize the Mavericks a little bit? Like, it's like, okay, so why aren't teams doing that more? And it's like, well, when you got Klay, when you've got one of the greatest 3-point shooters ever, like that reputation matters, and it's opening things up for everyone else. So yeah, like eventually he's going to have to be more consistent with his shot making, but like that's a playoff, like, to be honest, it's a playoff discussion. Like they will be totally fine in the regular season if he's playing the way he's playing right now.
So I put together. Look, I want to go to break, but then I want to talk about I want to talk about the win-loss record and just something that I mean, you all know this, but it's one thing to know it. It's another thing to put all the data together and read it. But all right, so as you guys know, our podcast sponsor at the moment is a company called Body Spec. If you're unfamiliar with Body Spec, what are you doing? They are a company that provides what's known as a DEXA scan. It's a full body composition scan. I got one a couple of weeks ago. And what the goal of the body composition scan is to help you understand kind of what's going on with you, whether you're an athlete, a person who sits behind a desk, a person who might have a more manual labor job. It's good to know, where you are so you can have an idea of how to get where you want to go, particularly if you're interested in getting back into better shape. If you'll head to the show notes and click the Body Spec link, you can see what I'm talking about. Right now, we're offering a special promo code. If you use the code PODMAVS45, which I actually need to show you here for those of you in the video stream, PODMAVS45 in all caps for $15 off. Guys, going to be honest with you. Well, I can see the metrics on this stuff. We're seeing a lot of click-throughs. Really appreciate the click-throughs. Not seeing signups for us yet. So if you want to support the show and you want to do something good for yourself, click and sign up and go. It's nice. It's something you can do for yourself. It's a gift you could give to somebody close to you. It's real short. Josh is actually getting his tomorrow. And then we're going to be able to talk about it a little bit more after Saturday's game, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. Body Specs competitors charge as much as $150 for a scan like this. So you're getting real usable information at a great price. Again, visit the Body Spec link in the show notes or in the video description section and use the code PODMAVS45 and sign up for one of these things, guys. You'd be surprised. They're all over the place in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's kind of one of those things that you've probably seen before and just didn't notice. Anyway, we're going to insert some ads here and we will be right back.
We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences, so the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Just go to Indeed.com/Blue Wire right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
So, you want to be a marketer. It's easy. You just have to score a ton of leads and figure out a way to turn them all into customers. Plus, manage a dozen channels, write a million blogs, and launch 100 campaigns all at once. When that's done, simply make your socials go viral and bring in record profits. No sweat. Okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. But with HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools, launching benchmark-breaking campaigns is easier than ever. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
All right, Jahmyr Gibbs just caught a 2-yard touchdown. Fantasy football on a Thursday night, mattering. This is Kirk Henderson and Josh Bowe. We're back. Thanks for listening to our ads. If you guys wouldn't mind subscribing to our show, leaving a comment. I just got the Spotify Wrapped, which just only shows the Spotify Wrapped ads of the single favorite thing that we got. Pod Maverick is quite literally listened and downloaded in 75 different countries. You know, of all the different statistics I've come across, that sort of thing absolutely blew my mind. You know, we only have 3,200 subscribers here on Twitter. We do have in the neighborhood of like 25,000 people who regularly download on our thing, but it's really cool to see stuff like that. I'm very grateful for the support that we get in the show. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you should leave a comment. That's me talking for like a minute straight. So, the Mavericks are 15-8 now, yes? Is that right?
Yes, they're 15-8.
So I think my favorite stat that I've compiled so far, and you guys all know this, it's just you think, all right, they got 8 losses. Well, those 8 losses are by 39 points. 39 points.
What is that? Do the math for me.
That's like it's like 4 points. It was real. It was like I did it the other night. Now I can't remember what it is. It's what is there 39. No. 39 divided by 8, 4.875 points a game.
Okay.
So, and that's so basically when you guys know this. You guys go in, if you go look at the schedule, you go look at the loss column stuff. They lost their second game of the year against the Pistons by 12. They lost Houston by 6, Indiana by 7. Then the next 4 games they lost by a combined 8 points. And they lost to the Heat by 5. Like, the reason I point this out is just kind of a reminder. And Steve Jones did this the other night on his show. It's like, and you know, maybe I owe an apology to some people who pop in the comments when I've been pissed off. It's like, all right, this team is really good. It's kind of what it's kind of where I'm settling. Like, they're really good. I get that there might be better teams, but the 82 game trajectory, the Mavericks aren't starting too high. We have all these points of improvement that they could make. there's the health stuff. There's a lot of the defensive focus. There's some 3-point stuff. There's frankly just using stuff that works more often. Oh man, there's just a lot going. This is a game you should be, or this is a team you should be really excited about. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, like I said, I think after the Memphis and Portland win, where they basically won 2 games where they absolutely shouldn't have because of really bad statistical outlier kind of things going against them. Like, you don't normally beat a team that's shooting I can't remember what Portland shot. They were like in the high 50s from 3. And then they won against Memphis, shooting with 25 turnovers. So it's like, okay, like this is starting to feel like a team that is going to do what we've been asking them to do since 2019 or 2020, basically. Like, take the regular season seriously and dominate it the way that you think they should if you have someone you think is the MVP. And I know the rosters haven't been good enough lately, but it's clearly good enough now. And they really didn't have any excuses coming into this season, besides some injury stuff, obviously. But this was the season for them to really like push for a top 3 seed, which, I've written about, I've talked about. Like, you don't win an NBA title unless you're a top 3 seed. Like, that's just how it is. It's only happened twice if you're not a top 3 seed in the history of the league. Hasn't happened since 1995. You just got to be a top 3 seed. And guess what? The West is hard again. I know the Mavericks will probably petition the league to move east whenever there's an expansion team in Vegas.
God, you're right. I never even thought about that.
I know. I'm pretty sure I've read a story that Cuban has, like, when Cuban was more in charge, he like was pushing for the Mavericks to be put in the Eastern Conference whenever the NBA expanded, because their expansion teams are going to be it's either going to be Vegas in the West or it's going to be Seattle. Like, it's going to be a Western Conference team, so they might shift it around. But Mavericks might have to get in line, because I'm sure every team in the West would rather play in the East.
Like Memphis,
like Memphis, or anyone. The Lakers would probably like to be in the East right now, although they just got drubbed by Miami, so maybe not.
Well, somebody pointed that out in the comments, like, where it's like, I'm talking about the Mavs only lost 8 games by 39 points. Where did he go? There's a comment just a second ago. It's like the Lakers just lost by 41
in one loss. That's crazy. That's crazy to
right?
do. Yeah. Wow. So they're kicking ass. I don't have cleaning the glass. Hasn't updated yet. But they were 7th in net rating on cleaning the glass coming into this game, which is good, because the other teams ahead of them have really high ones. But like, if they finish with the net rating they have right now, they'll be like in the top 5. I think they're 5th in the league in point differential, only behind Cleveland, Boston, Oklahoma City, and Memphis, and they just beat Memphis. So take that with what you will. So there's nothing to complain about, right?
No,
like,
great
they're doing
space.
their job.
Great space, and we can do kind of a brief look ahead. Toronto, Saturday evening at Toronto. Bit of a trap game. I feel like Toronto always plays them hard, but that was also when they had Nick Nurse. And they right now have what do they have on the injury report? They still have a number of guys like Emmanuel Quickly, Kelly Olynyk, Jacob Poeltl. These guys are all like that. I guess Poeltl could come back, but Olynyk is and Quickly are not, at least according to ESPN, are not expected to play in that game. So that and Kelly's like one of those guys who just eats the Mavericks up doing annoying shit, because he's a technically functional player. I don't know, that one's going to is what it is. Then the Mavericks get a brief kind of they get Sunday, Monday off, and then they're playing that opening round of the NBA Cup against the Oklahoma City Thunder in Oklahoma City, which, for your extra game playing against your probably your most heated Western Conference foe is pretty fun. The Mavericks, that was like the game. That was like the Lilliputian game where the Mavericks beat the Thunder in kind of a boat, like a race to 130 points or whatever it was, where the Thunder only had 6'6" guys or short. They have a slightly more healthy team. that'll be just that, I'm looking forward to seeing that game in general, just because I both love and hate playing really good teams. See here, I was just filibustering as I was trying to get to who I wanted to look at the Oklahoma City roster, but seeing how Lively deals with Isaiah Hartenstein is pretty important to me, because Hartenstein does the same thing to teams that Lively does in terms of just being everywhere. And Lively, I think, he had kind of an odd box score tonight with a whole bunch of offensive rebounds and not that many defensive rebounds. And I just want to see I would like to see him. I don't know. I don't just play a more complete game. Is that ridiculous? Am I being too harsh on him?
For Lively?
Yeah.
I guess, but I thought he was okay. He's pretty good tonight.
I want to see him grab more defensive rebounds against teams where we need defensive rebounding.
That's fair.
That's what I'm getting at.
Okay. That's fair.
Because there's just times where he doesn't box. And I think against a team like the Thunder, that's where you get eaten up.
I know he had 11 rebounds, but 7 of them.
7 offensive, which is great. It's like, and again, I'm nitpicking when I'm thinking ahead against one of the best teams, like maybe the best team in the Western Conference. So,
right. Yep.
I don't know. Is there anything else that's in your brain? I'm already mad at Dort. Is that a week out? I'm already like, fuck that guy.
I know. I am looking forward to because they weren't in the knockout rounds. They weren't in the knockout round last season, so I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun. But otherwise, I'm not gonna lie, I have nothing else to say.
Nothing else. This game. No, I think that's good.
I don't know, man. They kicked the shit out of a bad team. That's all I mean.
Listen to other Mavs podcasts. If you guys are listening on audio streams, I'm gonna start the Mavs party, talk for a few minutes. But if nobody really wants to join, then I'm gonna go hang out with my wife, maybe watch some stuff. My wife was out last night and I didn't have anything to watch. And I had put this, believe you're gonna make fun of me for this. This Zack Snyder produced Netflix called cartoon. God, what was it called? Snyder cartoon. Twilight of the Gods. And it was each episode was like 25 minutes, and I was like, this slaps. I was having a great time. Granted, I'd had some cocktails, so maybe it wasn't very good, but that's what I'm going to do tonight. I don't know. We're in this part of the season where I don't know what to do with myself during off nights. Just because it's like, well, what I should do is go to bed. Like the answer is like, as always, go to bed. So, okay, well, I'm going to start the Mavs party. You go on with your evening and get some sleep too. We will see you guys a little, Saturday night, 6:30 game, which is also nice. It means we can be in and out, just like tonight. Everybody go be good. Enjoy the first part of your weekend, and we will talk soon. Go Mavs.